just shouting. Well, hello, hi. It is me, it is I, Small Town Didi, your Canadian this year internet. Akastraha and back, hello, yala. Guys, one of you called me out on my sober curious short that I posted. I was out and I was saying for the first time since I've been on this journey, it's well over a year for me. Well, not well over, like it's a year and some change, maybe a month, because I started last year October. You don't have to wait for December 1st, Jan, to start something. Like, you actually don't. Okay, I saw it. It's not a thing. It's time is such a serious construct. Anyway, the point is, one of you is like, I think we're past being curious at this point. I think you are in it. And it's like, I'm still so scared of this monster because I didn't take a break to stop. Like, I took a break to center because I was clearly trying to push through grief in a way that was not going to work for me or my body. Like, in the bigger scheme of things, it was going to create more problems. We're gonna sit down. When I feel good and ready, I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna really get into my issues around alcohol, what I felt I was doing around alcohol or using alcohol. But I think I've shared with you guys, like in videos here and there, in-depth things, but I'll sit down and you guys can really get to understand what the actual trigger was. I'll probably do it sometime next year. Yeah. Anyway, because I'm sober, curious, or she says I'm not, guys, she's about to come in the comment section to be like, girl, I already told you about that, okay? But anyway, I searched things up on TikTok as to what are the girls drinking when they're out and stuff like that, figuring out ways to cope when you've reached for alcohol as a coping substance or a socially acceptable thing that you do when you're out. You don't know an experience without it, like me. And the girls were like, this girl, she's the girl. It's probably blurry as fuck, so if it is blurry, maybe I'll include, yeah, great thing. They said this girl, she's from Willie's, I think you could see right there. And yeah, like, it says brute, but like, she's not that. And I think it's because I'm also off sugar and sweeteners and things like that. She's so sweet for me. This is the second time I got this bottle. I got it yesterday. One of my friends, we had a girl sleepover. She slept over here. And it was so nice. We spent the day together. She's having her wine and she got me this. And I can't. Like, it's like concentrate for me because I'm off sugar. So, loads of ice. I find that this is the only way that it works for me. I was using this last yesterday and I don't think I gave it a good clean. And then I go in with this or sparkling water. Whatever you really have on hand. And then it's not a substitute. It comes nowhere close. If you're like me and you actually like the taste of alcohol, like, I really get lists for like, I love liquor, I do. It's not going to do that, but it's going to keep you busy or something. Like, you're gonna get to feel involved. Not really, bitch. It's its own thing, bitch. It doesn't taste like alcohol. I actually think a couple of shots of tequila in here, now I'm not being helpful, for you drunks, you'd enjoy this. It's a little cute a little cute cocktail, cheeky thing. It's so interesting that I'm choosing to review this or talk about it today when I want to get into all of that I want to get into right now with you guys, because I find that alcohol is sometimes, or this, not just the substance, but the substance as well, at the center of a lot of butting heads of families that we just do not interrogate our inclusion of the substance in our gatherings as much as we should. It's not the only thing, so we'll get into some of the things. Tell me why I learned that Oprah's podcast is available on YouTube. That's how much I am exhausted at paywalls. And remember that other article, I was shocked it wasn't behind a paywall, that opinion piece on is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend where you just feel like you don't have access to anything, so you don't even go looking for it. My views aren't going to change. Those are my views, because that's just what I've always had, even before this episode dropped. But I'm going to try to use some of the clips from TikTok to help this video along, so you guys know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the people who were on the podcast and stuff. And hopefully I am not flagged for it. If I am, I'll just demonetize the video. The other thing is, I see you guys commenting on the progress I'm making in terms of my physical appearance. I appreciate you guys so much for the lovely messages and the compliments and stuff. If you're new here, you may think it's out of turn. It's not. I've shared a lot with people about things I'm trying to do in terms of my skin and my weight and my overall appearance. So people are commenting with regards to that. So thank you. I see you guys all the time when you're like, oh, you're looking good, Rahadi, or whatever. Thank you. Thank you. Oprah had a special on, what is this? On what is being termed really a new trend, where children go no contact with their parents, and in some instances their entire families, grown adult children go no contact and stuff. She had a special, and there was one lady who came on to speak about her experience, where she's the one who went no contact with her adult son. And then there was a hospice nurse there. I saw clips. I didn't watch the full thing because honestly I don't want to figure out where to access it, because it's paywall after paywall. I don't want to be told about how I now need to pay for this new subscription. I feel like the gist of what I got was enough, because she didn't start the conversation. The conversation has been online of people documenting their things. It's so timely because she works in the space. She's deliberate with this. Thanksgiving is coming up for the Americans, but we're also going into the holiday season, where we're constantly hearing about family. It also ties into, I've been thinking about doing an episode of the Braxtons because of all the fights we've been seeing on them. The Braxton girls have been fighting in the new season. They've been fighting since the older seasons, if you've been watching since the Braxton family values and stuff. And when I saw the clips of them doing what they were doing to each other, speaking to each other in that way, really the lack of affection that's there, and what's there is just this obligation and this conditioning of a socialization of you just stick it through, that's your family and stuff. Watching it, and also having this like voice online of people going no contact and their lives being the better for it. And watching these sisters act like they don't have the option to walk away from this family unit that does nothing but make them feel a way about themselves and is not productive. Watching that, and then also a couple of days ago, seeing RayJ, it's a couple of days ago, just yesterday at this point, RayJ and PrincessLove, his ex-wife, there was a situation where he went live, and PrincessLove was accusing him of having pulled out a gun on her and her kids, and some family members she had there with her. She had a cousin and whatever, and the police came, and he was taken in for a bit, and I think he's out already. Listen, I wasn't sure how many of the videos I was going to be allowed to download and work with, so just a bit of a trigger warning with this clip of Princess and RayJ, if you haven't seen it, of what transpired, or some of what we got to see. Okay, I'm going to play that now.
Living in a world, bro. Now I got my kids in here with me. Like, I'm not, like, ain't nobody taking my kids away from me on Thanksgiving, bro. On the down. They in my house. They making threats to me. What's up? What you trying to do? Take my kids?
I'm getting my kids.
Okay. Take your kids. Watch how they cry. Take my kids because y'all drunk. Y'all want to drive drunk? Y'all want to drive drunk? Drive drunk. Drive drunk, princess.
Right, you just
drive drunk.
You just pointed a gun.
Drive drunk.
You just pointed a gun.
Drive drunk, princess. Go ahead. You want to take my kids? You and your drunk cousin? Because y'all drunk as and y'all alcoholics? Take my kids then. Go ahead. Who's going to drive? Tony, he's been drinking too.
I'm not driving.
Who's been driving? Everybody.
Out of
at y'all.
You pointed a gun at us.
I didn't point nothing at y'all.
You pointed a gun at us.
Yeah, whatever.
You pointed a gun at us.
Why you waking my daughter up?
You pointed a gun at us.
Why did you just wake my daughter up? Why did you just wake
Look,
my daughter up?
All I wanted to do was have a good Thanksgiving.
Why did you wake my daughter up?
Ray?
Because you selfish.
You're delusional.
You're drunk.
You're a woman abuser.
You're
and
drunk.
You're delusional.
I'm a woman. That's
yes,
what drunk
you
people
are.
say. Like, you're taking my daughter?
Grow the f*** up.
All right,
Seriously.
cool.
You need to...
You're not taking my son.
Ray,
Like, I know you're not taking my son. Hey,
Hold on,
bro. I swear to God, I'll shoot the fuck out of you.
Shoot
Y'all
you
get
right
out of my
now.
house.
Shoot
Y'all
you
get out of my house.
Shoot you right now.
Oh, I swear to God,
Shoot you right now.
take my son.
No.
I hate you over the fucking head, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You're doing my house.
Hey.
Bro, stop.
Stop.
I kill you.
Stop.
I kill you, bro.
Stop.
Okay.
I know you are. But stop. I'm trying to help you out.
All right,
We good? Yep. Literally, they're about to pull up right now. Let's chill.
Cool. All right, cool.
Literally. Yep, we good. All right, let go. Go. Let go. Let's chill. I'm trying to help you out. Let's go. Let's just get out of here. They really have to get out of my house. Why shoot you right now?
I got a gun.
I'm trying to help you.
Get out of here, bro. If I shoot you. I don't want you. I went. Listen, I'm gonna say this because I'm not gonna let the story go to where it don't supposed to go. You in my house. We having an argument. All right? We grown-ups. If you want to leave, leave. The kid is upstairs sleeping in my bed. You want to go upstairs and take the kids, wake them up into this grown-up argument, which shouldn't have happened. Instead of letting them sleep, you want to snatch her and take her with you. Then you got a dude coming in my bedroom where my kids is asleep, and they're trying to get in my bed and take my kids because all of y'all are drunk. Y'all can't drive with these kids drunk. I'm not letting that happen. This dude is coming in my room, getting in my bed to take my kid. I'm going to defend my kids, and I'm going to defend my space. And now, when they call the police, no problem. I'm sure the police going to come and understand what I'm going through. Then I go to jail. I'm in my bedroom. They're in there snatching my kids out of the bed while they're asleep, and they're waking up yelling and screaming and crying. A dude is getting my kid out of the bed, bro. I'm going for mine. For my kids, I'm going to double down on that. Y'all can't do that. But you know what? It is what it is. I love my kids. I'm not playing about my kids, and that's it. That's it. I'm in my house. Y'all in my bedroom. Taking my kids out of the bed at 4 in the morning. With a man, with you, in my bedroom. I don't know what else I would have done. I showed self-control. I didn't touch Princess. I didn't touch nobody until the niggas started trying to get in the bed and snatch my kid. That's a whole nother thing, man. I'm in my house. I hate that this shit happened.
I just want to say, I've been doing a really great job at protecting my peace and staying off of social media and just going to work, taking care of my kids, minding my business. I love my kids, and I would never do anything to put them in danger, including leaving them with a man who's waving a gun around. I would never do anything to put my kids' lives in danger. I'm the best mother, and I do it alone. I take my kids to school alone. I go to parent-teacher conferences alone. I put them to bed alone, while you're out here running around the world terrorizing women and abusing women. What I'm not about to do is let you deflect and not take accountability for your actions, for pulling a gun out on me and my cousin's husband because I was trying to take my kids and leave your house. I agreed to come over there and cook for Thanksgiving because I wanted you to be around your kids. With me present, because the last time I left them with you, they found you naked in a bed with a woman. And when I tried to ask you about it, you told me to f myself. And that I don't run shit over there. So, take accountability, right? Do better. Check yourself into rehab. Because you're more than drunk. You're not about to sit here and try and make me look crazy when I'm the best mother since the day my kids were born. I've been the best mother, and I'll take that. Because I am. Everything I do for my kids. Including being around you. When I don't want to or have to. It's crazy. I'm going to continue to pray for you. And pray that you get the help that you need. Because waving a gun around and leaving guns everywhere around your house is not okay. I did nothing to you to deserve that. My cousin's husband didn't do anything to deserve that. And never again.
Watching all of that stuff happen, that turmoil around there, and understanding that these aren't like once-off things, and no matter how hard you try to keep those relationships going, something keeps saying you're not supposed to be here. But there's that again, that societal pressure, that obligation, that conditioning, that family's family and you stick it through. You don't have to. That's what I have to say. And I'm not a person who's cut my family off, but I feel like a lot of the times when I see somebody talk about going no contact with a parent or something like that, when I'm in the comments and I'm seeing people who just don't understand because you don't come from a world where your mother's a cunt and you would have to get rid of her or distance yourself from her, so you can't imagine a different reality where somebody else's mom is the most harmful person to them because you lack imagination or you're slow. I don't know which one it is. I say this as somebody who is a sweet mom, like lovely lady, lovely parents. I say this to you guys all the time. I don't say it to be like, oh, that's not, oh, look at me, it's so different. I say it to say, even with the experience that I have, I understand that's not everybody's experience. So I hold room for when people say, I need to exit the space. It's not working out for me. I hold room. I hear them out. I'm not quick to say, you only get one mom, as if they have like a bajillion of views. It's crazy. If I only get one mom, okay, then why can't my one mom be nice to this specific one daughter that she had? It doesn't make sense to use that logic to try and manipulate people and staying in relationships that are not working out for them. And I also put out a short inspired by one of my takeaways from the Danish Deception, where I was talking about how only women want to see people or men they are in relationships with, and it's not always men, but people they're in relationships with, or romantic in relationships and others. Only we want to see people through addiction. How many men really sit through addiction with somebody? Addiction is destructive, it's violent, and it's dangerous. And the way we talk around addiction, understanding that it's a disease, the way we talk around it, where we still want to make room for this person and their dangerous disease to exist in our spaces because we're trying to be understanding of what they're going through, never makes sense to me. PrincessLove went live, as they do, to explain that she took her kids over there to spend Thanksgiving with their dad because they hadn't spent time with Ray for a while, right? And she just, oh God, it is good, you guys. Sorry. It is. It's something, it's not herbs, basically, and that's what you're looking for. You probably won't be able to do this if you work well with sugar. I don't. Okay. But Princess loves this. She took her kids over there to spend time with Ray for the holidays because he's been away. He hasn't had time to spend, blah, blah, blah. At the end of all of that, she's like, yeah, I just wanted a peaceful day. There's no way you want a peaceful day and you go hang out with the man who pushed you, the poor girl. But okay, I just wanted a peaceful day. I wanted us to have this memory. Again, this conditioning where it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas time or whatever looks this very particular way, and you're trying your hardest to create these memories for your kids and these family moments because you think this is what you're supposed to be doing. Only for at the end to say Ray needs to seek help, right? Like he needs to go into rehab or some shit like that. Because Ray is unraveling. Like RayJ is unraveling about the place and it's looking sus, right? She says that if you are aware that this guy is battling what you are alleging he's battling here, why are you bringing your kids into a space where you have so little power, right? If he wanted to spend time with his children, why can't he come to them? Your new home. She said she had moved into a new home and stuff. Why can't he come to them where it's safer, where if something is to happen, you now don't have to log all your shit or fucking 6 of you and leave when he's one person. If it means that much to him to spend time with his kids, he needs to come to where they are, where they're most comfortable, where their lives are. But he doesn't. It's not that important to him. It's our obsession as women and these constructs and trying to have things look and feel a certain way because we were told they were always going to look like this, where you're moving mountains, doing whatever for a person that doesn't give a shit that you've done all of this. And every time you've been around them, he's proven multiple times that you should not be around him. But you want them to have a relationship with their father. If you're saying that man has an addiction, he's not their dad because he's existing in an altered state all the time. That's not their fucking dad. That's a dude in an altered state that like they came from, like he's like he knocked them, whatever, but like that's not him. That's him and the addiction, allegedly, if we're gonna run with what Princess is saying here. So where are you taking your kids? There's this white lady, guys, who, and I don't know why I didn't save that video. Love that white lady who abandoned her husband at the airport when he was caught with drugs. She's like, I've just never been, I don't like getting into trouble. Like she's like a stickler for rules, you know? So when they came, I just grabbed my kids and I stepped away. And there were people in the comments shaming her. How could you step away from him when he needs you the most? Ra, ra, ra. You guys getting yourselves tangled up in people's demons with them is not helpful. It does not make you look any which type of way, right? If you invite over that uncle that you know is an alcoholic for Christmas dinners or whatever, and you know he's bringing a fucking demon with him, and you convince yourself that that's the day that you guys can talk around it or negotiate with the demon, or you're gonna do things to keep it at bay and do whatever, it's not going to do all of that. It will ultimately be like the disaster that it always is, because that's what they bring with them. That's what they have to offer. It's okay to like say, I'm not gonna be around people who move this way. I'm not gonna be around people who move this way. And you don't need to feel anything about it. And with the holidays again coming up, those of you who are for the first time going to spend your first Christmases having got no contact with people in your life, I don't think things being hard should be a reason for you to go back on the promise you made to yourself. I think you just need to sit in the discomfort and go through it like a lot of other things. Because the fact that you made that decision, you need to like constantly remind yourself of why you made that decision. And not do so by putting yourself back in the environment and having the environment remind you and re-traumatize you. But write down some of the things that you're going through and be like, this is why I made the decision. I'm not being dramatic, because I feel like there's a lot of trying to make people feel like they're extra. Like, that's not a reason to cut somebody off, especially your family. That's not a reason to throw people away and stuff. With the Braxton sisters, if you have loggerheads like that where you're threatening each other with violence, where one is deflecting by telling the other one that, yeah, you slept with Tony's man, right? That's what Tawanda said to Tamar, because she's deflecting from the fact that Tamar said, you've been stealing money from me, you understand? And I still show up for you and stuff. And at the head of that, the fish rotting from the head down and all of that, shout out to the Italians. I love that. Shout out to the Italians for that. But anyway, their mom is, and these are PKs, by the way. The Braxtons are preacher's kids. Sit with that for a minute, because a lot of the obligations around the societal contracts are weaved into this faith that a lot of us come from, right? Where there's a lot of manipulation around how you relate to your parent, no matter how they made you feel, no matter them not taking accountability or apologizing or trying to make amends or trying to build a bridge to reconciliation and change, and again taking responsibility for ways in which they've harmed you, that you now are navigating the world with this bleeding wound because your parent had done this to you. They're not minimizing the stuff they've done to you, because a lot of the times I feel like the not wanting to account is running away from with parents. They want to be able to say they weren't doing it deliberately or they didn't know they were doing it, right? But a lot of them do know that. So if they have to account, they have to all the way account, right? And say, I didn't like you because of this. You reminded me so much of this part of me I don't like, and I had to. It pushes them to confront things about themselves that they don't want to confront as well. And so it is easier to dig their heels in and act like they haven't hurt you. And when you finally decide that, you know what, this person is continuing to hurt me, they're not wanting to even take accountability for the shit that they've done to me so we can try to heal and find a new way forward, them continuing to do that hurts me. Like, it continues the hurt that I experience from them. It's inflicting more on me, more hurt on me, the thing that they're doing. The Braxtons give that energy all the way. There's never a day. These are women in their 50s. Tamar's is the youngest, and she's about to turn 50 or has turned 50. There will never be a day where those girls, their sister Tracy died, and I don't even think her mom her mom had ever given her any kind of apology for what may have led to the dynamic between her and her sisters, and how her sisters treated her or saw her and things like that, right? The first season, they had little titles like Tony, the megastar. Tamar was the baby or whatever she was. Tawanda was the responsible one. I forgot what Sheena was. But Tracy's little title was the wannabe. How hurtful is that? And they treated her as such. They treated her like they're a clique and she's always wanting in with them, you know? She's always trying to find her way in the clique. Mind you, these are siblings, you know? And now looking back and the way they're behaving around her death, like they just loved her so much and they never treated her any which kind of way, never othered her, never made her feel like she doesn't belong in the space with them or anything like that. That the way they're showing up now lets me know their mom possibly never sat down with Tracy to say, I saw how your sisters were treating you. That dynamic between you and your sisters is not okay, that was happening. And me not nipping it in the bud, me not calling it out earlier, contributed to this, and it made it such that they felt valid or not challenged, rather, in othering you this way. I'm sorry, I didn't protect you as your mom. Those grown women, like, no guys, they cut each other in ways where they say the nastiest of things to each other. And in the earlier seasons, they would try to portray this image again of a good Christian family and them loving each other. And yeah, we bicker a little bit, but when you get used to the cameras being around you that much, the mask falls off, right? And then the real rot starts to come through and show through, and you can't pretend you're something you're not anymore. RayJ also coming from this essentially Hollywood family, in that his sister was this mega star, is still a star in my eyes, but she really held a particular position for a very long time, to a point where when she got pregnant, her mom faked a whole marriage so it would look away. It would look like she had her daughter in wedlock, because again, so concerned with the image, with the narrative building and all of that stuff. And doing that for the public, that they're trying to put this veneer so that the picture looks a certain way to the public. There's no way you're doing that as a facade for us to consume, right? Oh, this perfect family. There's no way you're doing that just for us. That has to start from the back. There must be tons of other things in the back where, if it's going to create some discomfort or things you don't want to address, you're the type to push it under the rug and act like it's not there, and it's just going to fester. That's all it's going to do. That's all it's going to that is all it's going to. And I feel like Miss Evelyn is that type, right? If she saw that one of her kids was constantly getting picked on or othered by the others, it was probably on the picked on kid to be the bigger person. Rise above it. Ignore this one's bratty behavior, right? Accommodate them even when they've hurt you and stuff, because that's what family does. That's what somebody sits with that wound. That thing doesn't go off into nothingness somewhere, you know? It doesn't. It simply doesn't do that. I don't know what to tell you, but it doesn't do that. But if you're so obsessed with things looking pristine to present this thing to the public, chances are you are a sweep under the rug type of person within your own family unit, because you just want everybody to get along. There's no just getting along when something has happened and it hasn't been addressed. It's always at somebody's expense. It's always at somebody's hurt. And you can see that there are unhealed things there, because the tiniest things trigger those girls. The tiniest things. It could be one little thing that starts off as a joke, but it's not really a joke. It's got an underlying something. And then because the wound is there, it's a tug on the stitch, and then it opens, because nothing goes away because nothing was dealt with. It's sitting there. sorry, now when people tell you that they don't want to be around shit like that, and in that special, there was one doctor in the special was talking about how some of these people choosing to be estranged from their families are doing so because it's a trend. You know, everybody's talking about it on social media, and some people just are possibly doing it to be in on the trend or something like that. I'm like, I can't speak to the biology of things, but we're definitely socially wired to have this affinity for our family, right? This is why we forgive our family the way we do. This is why we have so much grace for our children, our parents, and things like that. To try and trivialize really is what it felt like to me. Such a big decision for somebody to say, I'm going no contact, and chalk it up to, yes, some of them are doing it because it's a trend. You're gonna cut off your family, your lifeline over a trend. I felt like it was not a helpful or useful voice in that special. I felt like it was adding absolutely nothing except making little of what people are going through in a world where you're told that your family's supposed to be this. They are your biggest cheerleaders. They're your first line of defense. They are the people who build you up, encourage you. You get your self-esteem from your family. And then this is the messaging that we put out in the world, right? But your experience was that your family were your first bullies. Your family were the people that were constantly throwing you under the bus, never protecting, never defending you, never coming to your aid. For us to not understand that is a reason for somebody to walk away, I have no idea what happened just now. I was distracted by noise outside and I lost my train of thought. Like, I really did. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, there was another lady on there who spoke about having to cut her son off. And she got some pushback.
Yes, I am estranged from my 30-year-old son by choice. And what I do notice, even in the room, when the children were speaking, people were kind of nodding and agreeing with them. But the moment Christy started telling her side of the story, people were kind of like, you know what I'm saying? My platform speaks similar to hers on behalf of the parent, because parents are suffering in silence. And when children become estranged, they are celebrated, they're supported, people rally behind them. But when their mother decides to go no contact with her child, she's demonized. Mm-hmm. And that's been my experience.
You made the decision to go no contact. Why with your son?
My son he's caused me verbal, emotional, physical trauma, and financial trauma for over 15 years now.
And you just decided enough.
2 years ago, he threatened my husband and myself, and I made a conscious decision that was the last straw.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get his way.
He didn't get his way?
Yeah.
And has he respected the no contact?
No.
He has not?
No, he has not. He sends threats that if we don't unblock him, he just threatened my husband yesterday as I got off a flight.
Yeah.
Saying if we don't unblock him, if I don't speak to him, he's going to do some harm to us.
Wow.
So that's been my experience. And parents don't go no contact for very small reasons. It takes a lot for a mother to make that conscious choice. And I've been experiencing this for over 15 years since his dad and I got a divorce and I got remarried 18 years ago.
And you have a question?
My question is, why are parents always demonized when they speak their truths or when they make a conscious decision to go no contact, but estranged children are celebrated and rallied behind?
I saw people online pushing back on her, saying it's on her as the parent, the obligation, the onus is always on her to build a bridge to making amends with her child. She mentioned that child, this is a grown man, I think he's in his early 30s or something, and she mentioned that when she got divorced from the dad, that's when the friction happened with the son, and it's never gone away. So he's this unhealed, like 15-year-old, existing in this grown man's body, and his mom, being the weakest in that scenario, is the person he feels he can take his anger out on, because there's like the chances of being reprimanded when you're doing stuff to your mom are slim to none. Like the chances of real consequences when you put your mother through shit are slim to none, right? Your mom is wired to forgive your behavior, excuse it, enable it, and you know that. You can birth your abuser. It's okay to cut that motherfucker off. He's a grown man. He can fend for himself. It's okay to cut him off. The idea as well, when we say things like, yeah, but you raised him to be that way. He's a grown man. He's a grown man. It sounds like his dad was still in his life. They were just not together. And we know that oftentimes when that happens, children will take out their anger, their frustration on the parent who initiated the divorce or the parent they feel most secure with. And it's a crazy thing, right? Like the parent that I know definitely loves me, will show up for me, will hold my hand is usually mom. So I can take out all my anger on her again because the chances of being rejected by her feel slim to none. This feels like a safe space for me to terrorize because I don't want real consequences for what I'm going to do. My dad, on the other hand, if I stopped doting and loving him, because men only love their kids for that period, or not love them, but leech off them like fucking vampires for that period where their kids see them as heroes. The moment the kids grow to be their own persons with their own interests, they find it hard to bond with the child because it means that they need to exit themselves. They're no longer centered. Men can't deal with not being centered. They now have to exit not being centered and lean into the child's interest because that's the person developing. They're trying to learn themselves. You now need to help them along, right? The children also start to see you for the human you are, for the flaws you possess. You're no longer on this pedestal. You're not an idol anymore. Your dad, I still love you and stuff. Men struggle with that phase of their children's lives where the children are growing into themselves. And they no longer look at you as like anything akin to a deity. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in that phase, the mom is the one who's establishing the activities, honestly, to foster these interests that the child has. Knows everything that's going on with the child, how often they're changing the shoe sizes within a year because they're growing so much in that space. Their appetite, men are too self-centered to really engage with their kids' interest on that level. This is why when you say to them, it's weird to us, they're already at their own center. Just calm the fuck down and worry about yourself, okay? But the person they're going to, I know somebody who did that to their mom. They daddy went shit, okay? And this person took out their anger for what they deemed as the destruction of their family on their mom, who had kept the family together. The only dangerous element that had been removed was the no good daddy, right? The no good daddy had access to them, but never bothered to want to come around and foster those relationships because, again, too much work, right? This is exactly what's happening here with Princess. You want to be able to say, he's a good dad, but he's not. You need to orchestrate everything, have everything perfectly in place, even place him in that scenario for you to get the picture so you can come tell us about how he's a good dad because he was around for Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, you had to do all the moving parts while he did nothing. Sat at his house, went on live. Nothing about his day looked like I'm stepping outside of myself to accommodate my kids and my partner today. I'm going to put me aside because this is about creating these memories for the children. Nothing about him said that, right? I literally know a grown-ass woman who moved like this. Because why? Her mom was safe. Her mom had already demonstrated and proven that I'm not going to abandon you, right? But the abuse that she had to endure from this person and the imaginary ideas, fantastical, wonderful ideas they had of their no good daddy, crazy. I've seen it, okay? I've seen it a couple of times actually, where it's like, I don't know why my mom left my dad, she broke up our family. You know your dad ain't no good. You fucking know that. All right? But it's harder to address those feelings because wrapped up in those feelings is also feeling like you're not good enough, right? Why can't my dad be a better person for us? Is it me? Am I missing something? Doesn't he love me enough? Those are such uncomfortable uncomfortable feelings to sit with, and all the answers are no. It's nothing the matter with you. That motherfucker is a demon. There's nothing the matter with you, but you have those questions, right? They doing this to you. It affects your self-esteem. It affects how lovable you think you are and stuff. And instead of lashing out on the right person, the person who didn't stay, a lot of you do this to your mother. So this woman telling us that she's got no contact with her grown-ass son, and then everybody feeling like acting. This is why I tell you that raising a boy child is such a risk that if I can avoid it, I'm gonna. I am so sorry. You could put in everything into your boy child. And because they grow up in a society that is more influenced than you, when it's said and done, when they walk around in the world and they see the shit they're able to get away with just by them being men, whatever teachings you had in the home cannot override the privileges they know they have in society because they're men. You can try your hardest. If that little man you're raising is hell bent on being a fucking loser, it's going to happen. And to beat women and parents over the head with this, you raised him to be like that, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, so you're stuck with him and they do it especially to the mothers. You're stuck with him for the rest of your life because he's acting like that. You didn't try hard enough. So no, you can't go no contact with him. He's your responsibility forever. I bet you I will throw my grandson the fuck away. Do you understand me? Throw him out. I'll move to motherfucking Chad to get away from that fucking brat. There is no way you're making me responsible for that shit. I've seen how, guys, do you know that failure to launch uncle who puts everybody through shit because life didn't go his way, and instead of trying to figure out a way to chart himself out of the predicament he got himself into by getting mixed up with the wrong crowd? Did your mom send you to be friends with your drug doing friends? Did your mom really send you to be friends when you thought you were cool and shit? And then when your friends were studying, you thought, was it your mom making you not study? The failure to launch uncle, the havoc that rain down on the family, like the entire family unit, but their mothers as well, and the mother's guilt feeling like, I need to endure this because I birthed this person. No, you fucking don't. You need to get a restraining order on him. You need to kick him the fuck out and move to fucking Ukraine. It will be better than dealing with that failure to launch sucker. I don't care. But again, because we know how to hold women's feet to the fire, we were so eager to tell this woman that she needs to figure out a way. She does not have to figure out a damn thing. She already tried. Okay? Is he deserving of this redemption that you are trying to give him just now? Is this woman not deserving of her peace? When is it enough? If that's your child, I beg to differ. Throw him away. Throw him away. I believe in throwing family away. I really deeply, and I can't. It's not that deep. It's not. If this is not serving me, I gotta go. Really, I gotta go. I'm finding myself in a situation right now where I feel like if I had my money together, like my life was together, I'd throw some people away. I'm literally, out of survival, having to exist in the same frame. Truly, don't let me get my shit right, because the quickness with which that's why you gotta have your shit together, so you can throw people away who are disturbing your existence and your peace. You don't need to stay, being family with people is not reason enough to keep them in your life when they are not adding any goodness to that space. In fact, they're doing quite the opposite. It's not a good reason to keep somebody in your life, but that's your family. It's the same thing as saying to me, when you're staying in a relationship that's not going great, it's abusive as fuck, and your whole story is about how, oh, but I still love him. Bitch, go the fuck away from me with this. What do you mean? You don't need to stay in community with people simply, this is one of those accidents of your birth type shit. You don't need to stay in community with people simply because you were born with them. You don't. People need to not even earn their keep in your life, but show up as decent and pleasant people to want to be around. You being my brother is not reason for me to say, oh, now I must stay around with him because we were born to the same set of people. Fuck you. The fuck out of here. Like, are you okay? Are you cool? You women who it's now the holidays, your deadbeat baby daddies are gonna start trying to toy with you again, promising that if you do this, I'll get him Christmas clothes. You're about to get your kids ready to go out for a date with him. He's never gonna show up and stuff like that. There needs to be a program, a psychologist of sorts, somewhere where they start finding ways to word, ways to deliver these things and this messaging about the fact that your parent has abandoned you, like age appropriate truths. There needs to be somebody who works on the wording as to your child at this age. They can possibly process the information like this, they can digest it better like this. If you feel like they're too young, use this wording to postpone the conversation to an age where they may have seen enough, experienced enough, can digest a little bit more truth of what's going on. But this thing that you women do instead, that Princess did here, where you launch your kids essentially. She put herself, her cousin and the husband's cousin, their kids in danger, trying to accommodate one grown man. Who is that experience for? Who is it for? Why would you take your children, put yourself, your family members, your kids as well, in the vicinity of somebody whom you saying is struggling with substances and they get erratic? Who were you trying to put the image together for? Exactly. Who was being catered to in that space? When you are trying to, and I know you think you want to say you're doing it for your kids. Doing what for your kids? Why you want your kids to be around a person like that, or a person when they're in a state like that? That don't make sense, you guys. Somebody, you gotta sit down with the people who came before you, or the people who had a parent abandon them, whatever the issue is, and start to break things. Ask that person, since your dad did this to you, or since your mom wasn't around for whatever, how would you think, how do you feel you would have liked that the news to be given to you as a child? Now looking back, as little Didi, if your dad had abandoned you, what do you think what would be an age appropriate way it could have been explained to you at 8, instead of pushing it under the rug and making, because also guys, when you do that, you leave room for us to have these wild imaginations of the fantastical person that this person is, right? And we think we're missing out on this great experience. He's probably such a lovely man. That's your parents, right? That natural, or so, I don't know, inclination to want to assign good attributes to that person kick in, because you made of them, you come from them, you feel like you're an extension of them. You're not about to tack on negative things onto them. You're always going to imagine them being wonderful if nobody around you is trying to explain to you that, you know, honey, this is what's happening here. I think it's not First Wives Club, because that's one of my favorite movies. It is the Tyler Perry one. It's got clubs in it. Is it book club or something? It's got Nia Long. God, I forgot the other women that are in it. But Nia Long's son, in particular, in that in that series, the dad goes on drugs, like proper hard drugs and stuff. And she's never honest with him about what's going on. And he is grown enough to understand a little bit. He's pre-teen or teen, on the cusp around there somewhere. And he then just feels like his mom is hindering his relationship with his dad because she's not being all the way honest, right, about what's going on. And he goes missing. And he's not really missing. He made plans to, his dad got him, they started chatting. He made plans to go link up with his dad. So he ran away or went outside of his routine. And she's running around with these ladies that she's made friends with. He's not at the school. They're trying to find him, blah, blah, blah. And he's wanting to link up with his dad because, again, his mom is keeping him away from his dad. He links up and he sees the strung out person trying to get money from him. His dad asking him, yeah, do you have some money or whatever, strung out as fuck. And when he goes back home, like his mom is just defeated. But when they finally like find each other, I can't remember if the cops found him or if the mom found him back at home when she went home. He asked her, why didn't you tell me dad was on drugs? Like, why couldn't you just explain to me that this is what is happening with this man and that's why he can't be around? And in you trying to protect the image of somebody else, you end up harming your own relationship with this child because you were so busy trying to construct this narrative of your dad is amazing. Putting everybody in danger. I heard Brandy wasn't speaking to RayJ at some point. Like his own family don't want to be around him and you want to just like strut your kids over there. I can't do it, you guys. That's all I really have to say on this. Good luck, those of you, because this season, I feel like this season is such a trigger. We always talk about it being this cheerful, happy season and stuff. But I feel like, especially because we've fallen on such hard economic times, the season is such a trigger for a lot of people, you know, the people who can't afford to do the cute stuff for their kids and participate in our African Christmas where you get new clothes and you get to play with your friends wearing your new clothes and stuff and you're kidded and everybody's showing everybody they fit. Like Christmas fits are a thing, we know this, right? Like you've cooked the 7-color spread, you have family and love and laughter around you and stuff. Not everybody has that. People have very hard years where even if they're together as a unit, they can't afford those experiences and stuff. It takes people to very, very dark places. The season takes people to very, very dark places when they're not in a good way. And those of you who've got no contact, and this is going to be a reminder again, a sore reminder of the fact that I don't have this thing that everybody else says they have and is so important. You know, I don't have it. There'll be grief there still. Not a reason for you to turn back on the decision that you made. It may feel like that. It's like that horrible breakup where you feel like, but I feel like if you've made the decision to go no contact with your person, with your parent, and that doesn't seem like they've changed. There was this lady, there's a white lady on there who was saying that she's willing, she has a very busy TikTok of estranged parents, right? Or parents whose kids have got no contact with them. And she was on the show and she was talking about how she's done enough videos, she's hoping her daughter has seen them, where she's willing to go to therapy and hear her child out and hear where they were going wrong and blah blah blah, and she's only hoping that she's seen them and that eventually she'll reach out because she's blocked from accessing her in any way, shape or form. When she was saying all of that, it sounded good, but for me, ding ding ding, for me I was just like, that child knows the speech. That child knows you aren't really willing to take accountability for anything. Even if you go to the therapy session, you're gonna try to manipulate that situation and not account for anything and not really try to really make amends for anything. Only for her to go make a TikTok after the episode aired. There was a hospice nurse there who said that those parents who are at the end of their lives sometimes say things like, hey, could you reach out to this family member for me? For me, I've been estranged from my child for this long. And she's like, she always tells them that all I can do is reach out. I can't make them want to talk to you or make them want to come see you. And if you write a letter, I can get it sent to them, but there's nothing I can do. And then she says that she doesn't really try to manipulate or coerce. These weren't her exact words. The children of the dying person whom they've been estranged from for decades or however long, she doesn't really do things like try to manipulate them to come see them like, hey, they really like this is your whatever. She just sends the message as it is because she feels like those children who made that decision all those years ago deserve to keep their peace if they want to, and it's not her job to, at the end of this person's life, decide that this person's moment means a lot more than the decision that that person came to. It's basically the sum of what she said. And this mother said, I couldn't believe a hospice nurse was standing there not having any empathy for her dying patients. Girl, fuck you. Okay, truly. Not having any empathy for her dying patients. She didn't speak with any, like, she's, you know, like very dismissive of the parent, blah, blah, blah. Again, I was like, this right here is why her child is not reaching out to her.
So the general consensus is a lot of people on my platform didn't like the hospice nurse. And to be honest, I think they have every right to. See, I was really shocked because I was going to New York thinking that there was going to be a hospice nurse showing compassion for parents in the end of their life when they wanted to reconnect with their children. So when they aired her TikTok on the podcast, I was floored. I had no idea that they had an estranged child that's a hospice nurse that was going to lack any kind of compassion for her dying patients. I went down the rabbit hole to her profile, and her whole platform pretty much is based off of dying hospice patients, their stories. It's so sad. So I was severely disappointed. So I was shocked to see that a hospice nurse has zero compassion for her dying patients. It's pretty sad.
What an interesting thing. You're putting these estranged children with their dying parents, but it's not that at all. In most
Not
cases,
always.
in most cases, they don't, right? They say no. I don't want to see them. Has anybody expressed, regret or grief that they were estranged from their adult children?
I did have one person in particular I think of that really told me that they had a lot of regrets and they wanted to make amends. And I did, with our social worker, make that phone call to the child and asked if they wanted to hear them out and give them that chance. They went really back and forth. They ultimately decided not to. So what myself and the social worker did is we offered for that patient to write a letter to the child. And we said, after you pass, we'll make sure that they get it. We can't promise that they'll read it. And the patient decided to not write that letter.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You told my team that you think that this is oftentimes a form of control on the part of the parents. Yeah.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
She does not have the lens to see another person's point of view, and that's why her child cut her off. It does not, because she's seeing herself as the dying patient. There's no world in her mind. She can't fathom where you aren't coming to see off your dying parent regardless of how they treated you. And this is that stuff that's baked into our cultural norms, our religious norms as well, right? Where people feel like death assigns them a sanctity type of status. Right? We're supposed to forget all the shit you were doing on here, the havoc you reap when you're on here, the shit you did to us. We're supposed to put it aside because you're dying now. I'm sorry, the circle of, you're fucking dying anyway. Like, what the hell, what's it gonna change? Just die quietly, shit. It's like you couldn't live quietly and leave me the fuck alone. Now you're dying and you still. And the hospice nurse says it feels like a lost power move by the parents. It feels like a manipulation tactic, very true to narcissists, very true to narcissistic parents, where they want the last say, but they can discombobulate for the last time ever. Right? They love to have the last word. Because what are we reconciling here? I'm coming to see you when you're dying. There's nothing here anymore. Right? I've been estranged from you for like 2 decades at this point. You're nothing, you're nobody to me. There's nothing here. But you want to dredge up things in me and get me going again, as is true to your nature. So you're getting people to reach out to me and tell me about how you die, man, and do it quietly, shit. Like, what are you even on about, yo? Like, don't ring me. Don't. Who have you been living your life with when I've not been talking to you for all this time? Call them and die with them. I already made it clear that I don't want to be around for your life. Why want to be around when you're dying? That's a power move. She wasn't wrong. And the parents in that lady's comments, They were also discombobulated. They also couldn't understand that people have this much autonomy. They couldn't understand that those things that are like honor your father and mother and respect, these built-in, baked-in things that we have in society that people employ to beat you over the head with and get you to not have boundaries, and they're surprised when you move on to not have boundaries in other relationships. All the while you were taught to not have boundaries by relating to your parents, by how your parents would relate to you, right? Do stuff to you, but you know, get over it because that's your mom. No. Mom and dad need to learn how to say sorry. Mom and dad need to learn that they can be wrong. If we can talk about how they're also doing this human thing for the first time, there's no manual to parenting, they're also parenting for the first. If we can have that conversation, then they ought to know that they may be doing some things wrong and hold room to correct. But they don't want to do that part. They just want the grace without the accountability. They just want the getting over it because that's your parent without having to say, you know, honey, the way I would speak to you sometimes, not cool. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. And these religions, baby, you know it's always like something Christianity's doing. You know that it is, so I'm not even going to get into it. It's always something. Oh. But anyway,